What's good, everybody? We are back. It's your boy Gerard and your girl Gabby. Episode 61, the Roger Maris episode.
Ooh, okay. I like that. We're
like that?
Shaking it up a little bit.
Shake
There's
it up.
no...
Nah.
Okay.
Right? I kind of threw a little Roger Maris in there, right? What do you think? It's like a little cross sport, right, for us, because we generally don't talk baseball on these streets.
No.
We talk basketball. But yeah, I figured why not, right? Let's do something a little bit different.
I feel like I inspired you with my baseball hat. It is not often that I wear a hat. I don't think I've ever actually worn a hat on the show. Shouts to our friends over at Haloed with this No Daddy Issues hat,
Well, what's so funny about that hat is it says no daddy issues, but like you look at it, I'm like, is that a daddy issues hat?
Nah, it's all about those girl dads out there. You know what I mean?
We got love for the girl dads. It's a wonderful thing. Shouts to all the girl dads out there. Listen, you're raising some wonderful young women. Make sure you do it right.
I mean, you could turn out like me,
That's
I don't know
win.
why I always have to make it about me.
That's a win. That's a win. Let us talk about a few things, Gabby. I know, we already know. Space Jam, A New Legacy, you will be out there in full effect seeing this
front
movie.
of the line.
Right. I will not, but shoes, of course, around that. We already talked about a bunch of like the Looney Tunes stuff that's come out. The LeBron James 8 Space Jams, right? Did you see pictures of that shoe? What do you think of the LeBron James 8 Space Jam shoe?
So I love a good theme. I also love Space Jam.
Yes.
But you know how I feel about LeBron and about his sisters. It's a little bulky for me, so I'm going to be polite today. I'm in a really good mood. Had a nice relaxing weekend on Fire Island. Try the crumb cake at Rachel's. It is worth every one of those $7. But when it comes to the LeBron kicks, I feel like from a collector standpoint, it's great. The 8 is a great silhouette. It's one of LeBron's best.
It is. The South Beach, of course, as we know, is a popular one. Yep.
Am I going to go for it?
I don't think you are.
I also just, I haven't had the best luck. So, I like to play to the sneaker gods. And our man's Kanye over at Yeezy has a few things that I've got my eye on. Like, I love those OG Wave Runners.
Yes.
So that is what I am praying to the sneaker gods for, just in time for my birthday.
That's true. Your birthday coming up next month. Speaking of Yeezy, did you see Kanye in Paris at a fashion show with James Harden, Lil Baby, and there was a woman sitting next to him, unidentified, but I'm thinking it's Irina Shayk, who he's been rumored to be canoodling with. But they all had masks on, so I couldn't see her face. I wasn't sure. And Kanye had the full-on, it wasn't even a mask. It was like a
hazmat suit.
Yeah. Yes. I was like, my guy, what is going on with you?
I don't know. I will say, though, Kanye is a genius as much as we want to dog on some of the things that he does. My favorite, though, are the memes now that, Kim and Kanye are not together. I guess he really did turn into her stylist. It's a little bit questionable.
Look at some of her fashion choices. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and I'm curious, even with Skims, the fact that Skims is creating apparel for the Olympics, to me, that's wild. I think that's some of the Kanye effect, a little bit of the Kardashian effect, but I honestly think that is a Kanye halo effect. Haloed effect.
I see what you did there. Look at you always shouting out our good friends at Haloed.
That's right.
So that was interesting. And speaking of James Harden, even though he is not currently playing basketball, NBA Finals. So sneaker game is always something that people got their eyes on. So of course it is the Milwaukee Bucks and Phoenix Suns. The Suns, at the time of this recording, Suns are up 2-1 in that series. Look, everyone knows the sneaker god, PJ Tucker, showing up to the game, right? He always got a pair on his feet and he's got a pair in his hand, right? That he rolls into the arena with. And that's part of the whole entrance theme. And he had the Nike mags on the other day. He's
fire.
PJ, we know he's the sneaker king, in the NBA. But I saw something interesting. Devin Booker was lacing up his shoes ahead of game 3, I want to say. And put it on Instagram and he's like, I ain't seen PJs with these though. And it was a rare pair of the Kobe 4 undefeateds. And I was like, oh, But knowing PJ, man, he might come out of the closet and be like, actually, I have the original artist sketched pair, or like some crazy shit like that.
And I had them draw your face on it like he did the other night. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I love about PJ Tucker. Like, he is so savage with his kicks, but he backs it up every time. And like, what a great story, right? Like, was playing overseas and now is in an NBA final. So from a sneaker perspective, we salute you, PJ.
Yo, man, PJ, yeah. And PJ, not even just sneakers, but like his whole fit. Like, PJ always comes correct no matter where he is. So shouts to PJ Tucker. Milwaukee Bucks are on the board, at the time of this recording, 2-1. Also in the NBA Finals, Giannis Antetokounmpo showed up before Game 3 in the all-black Air Force Ones. And like, okay,
That's a statement.
There's right.
That is a statement.
There's certain things you do that like you're gonna call attention to, and it's gonna like, now it's like, all right, what are you trying to say? Are you gonna back it up, right? And particularly in basketball, okay, what are you going to, like, how you gonna show out now, right? Like, he was already coming off a 40-point game in Game 2, but a game they lost. Shows up in the black Air Force Ones. Yo, this man came out, and as you said in our pre-show, so it's like, black Air Force Ones, that's serial killer type behavior.
He's going to murder that game.
And
that's right.
He sure enough did murder Game 3. He sure enough did. That was just an incredible performance by Giannis. And listen, if you're going to show up in the black Air Force Ones,
you got to deliver. You
know what I mean? You got, right? There's certain kinds of silhouettes that if you wear, it's like, all right, this is about to be something, right? Like,
it's like the equivalent of like pointing your baseball bat in the outfield. When
right,
you're going to the baseball team
calling your own shot.
Calling your shot. Heard you, Giannis.
Heard you. No, he was something else in that game, boy, for sure. But it is cool. I'm loving seeing the sneakers and just what everybody's doing for the finals. It's it's another opportunity to showcase for these NBA guys, and sneakers are such a big part of the culture, of course, of basketball.
I know. I'm not ready for it to be over yet, though, Gerard. I mean, I'm like pulling a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial here, hoping for overtime, hoping for this series to go as long as possible. I'm sure I apologize in advance to every player that's watching this. It's purely coming from a fan entertainment standpoint. But I think just the playoffs have been really beautiful to watch, especially like once my Knicks were out, I took the emotion out of it. Even Atlanta was really fun to watch. Like, it's been amazing. Playoff basketball, I know we've talked about it before, is like an entirely different sport. And people who dog on the NBA need to tune into playoff basketball. It's just it's different.
It's real different out there. And, I do think, look, I don't, a lot of people were like, oh, once the Suns went up 2-0, like the series was over. And I'm like, guys, like, I don't know, like, how long you guys have been watching playoff basketball, but when you win the first 2 games and you're at home, all you did was what you were supposed to do. You protected home court. That's it. Like, the old adage goes, a series does not begin until the home team loses. Well, a home team hasn't lost yet. So guess what? We still have a long series. I did predict this. I said Suns in 6. So it's fine. Like, we will have I believe we'll have a long series. So all good. Anywho, the final thing I wanted to talk about here in the opener was the winner of the Scripps National Spelling Bee, a young woman by the name of Zaila Avantgarde. First of all, her last name is Avantgarde, which is just
an amazing name.
Incredible, right? Like,
destined for greatness already.
Right? I mean, listen, that's your name. I mean, you got to be great, right? It's like the Black Air Force Ones. I mean, well, you got to show out. That's just what it is. And she was incredible. And what I loved so much about the moment was just the pure joy on her face when she won. Like, you saw the little, I mean, she's 14, right? You saw the little girl, like, catching the confetti, spinning around, and, like, all the interviews she was doing. It's like I envisioned myself winning, and then, like, it happens, and all this amazing stuff. And then you also find out not only is she obviously an intelligent person, oh, I'm also an elite basketball player. And it's like, oh, my goodness. Like, and Gavin, we all went to school with kids like this. Like, damn, why y'all good at everything?
Everything.
Right? Like, everything. And that's
and you're
her.
Nice and you're funny. Like,
yes. There are some people who are blessed like that in this world, right? But now they also put in a bunch of hard work. I did see one of the interviews where someone asked her, well, how do you practice your spelling bee? Oh, I study about 16,000 words a day. And they're like, how long does that take you? Oh, 5 or 6 hours. 17 hours left in the day. And it's just like, I mean, but that makes sense though, right? Like, she's very much like, that's not a big deal. Still plenty of hours in a day to work on other stuff.
Mamba mentality.
To go to school. Oh Lord, here we go. to go to school and work on my game and do all this other stuff. So anyway, it was it was pretty cool. And she has the Guinness Book of World. She has a couple of Guinness World Records as it relates to hoops, dribbling basketballs at the same time. She is phenomenal. And
phenom.
Oh yeah, and Coach David Thorpe of True Hoop, which those of you who of course follow my work there know, Coach Thorpe was looking at some tape of her, and he's like, "Oh no, she's got game. Like she's got game. She can play." So pretty cool for an 8th grader. So shout out to Zaila Avant-Garde on what's looking like great things ahead, and something I said somewhere else. This is now what's going to happen, right? It's the time where she's 14 and like everyone's going to want a piece of her, and like every brand's going to want to try to be like, how can we capitalize off it, right? Because that's what people do. I just hope that like her family like gets the right team around her, and they just let her be a 14-year-old and grow into and to develop into whatever it is she's going to be, right? Like we have no idea what that is. It could have nothing to do with basketball or spelling or whatever, but just let natural life sort of run its course, right? And not, force her to do more things than she's ready for.
Well, that's what's so interesting about this time, right? And I know us older folks say this all the time, like very happy that we didn't grow up with social media. Like really happy that Facebook didn't allow you to post all these pictures in college when I was there, because
that'd have been some suspect.
Shit was different then, That's all I had to say. What a time to be alive. We were in the era of disposable cameras originally. Now it's like trendy to be all retro and stuff. It's so funny when I see disposable cameras out at the bars now, and I'm like, where do you even go to get that developed?
Right. Photo mart.
What's a photo mart?
What's a photo mart?
Exactly. But I do think it's interesting that I think I'm curious to see how her presence with social media. I also think it's a really great tool for people who use it in the right way to reach a new audience, to get exposure, to show off your skills and talents in a way that has never been available before. So I'm excited. I'm going to be watching front row with some popcorn.
Get your popcorn ready.
And courtside.
Oh, I see what you did there. All right, folks, stay tuned, because coming up next, special guest.
Ooh.
What's good, y'all? We are back, and Gabby, we are not alone. We are joined by sneaker lover, globetrotter, entrepreneur, trainer, baller, host, creator. I mean, damn, she got like 1,000 jobs. Brianna Green. Bree, what's up? Thanks for being on the show.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. So, one of the things I love doing with guests, Bree, is really the first thing I like to ask a lot of guests is, a la one of my favorite characters in movies, in Brown Sugar, Sanaa Lathan's character. So
throwback.
Yeah, throwback, right? And she always asks, when did you fall in love with hip hop? But of course, I'm not going to ask you when you fell in love with hip hop. I'm going to ask you, when did you fall in love with sneakers?
So I think when I fell in love with sneakers, I remember I was about 11 years old. And I used to have, I've been playing basketball since I was like 4 or 5, but I never had like, a dope sneaker. They were just like, I don't even know what they were at the time. But I remember my mom and my aunt took me to the mall, and they were like, we're going to get you some basketball shoes. I said, okay. So I saw the 12 flu games, and I was like, Mom, I have to have these. So we drove separately, but from my aunt, and I was like, Mom, I have to have these. So she got them for me. I can't remember at the time how much they were. Then they were a lot cheaper. But I remember I was in the car and I unboxed them, and I was like holding them outside the car door, and I was showing my aunt, like knowing that she was the one she was there with me. So I had the flu game 12s, and I wore them with like every outfit. Like it wasn't even just my basketball, shoe. I had to wear them with literally everything. And I guess that's when I fell in love with shoes. Because since then, it was like after the flu games, I had which ones were they? The 13s. Yeah, the bread 13s.
Okay.
And I don't know. It was just Jordans, the retros, all the retros I had to have after I had the flu game.
Look at you. Your first pair were the flu game 12s. Wow.
That's like starting from the beginning.
I was going to say, it's quite a shoe to be an intro.
I know. And then I had to go and like buy, once they came out again, I don't know how long ago they came out again when they released them. I had to buy them again. I was like, I have to have these shoes. My first pair of Jordans. It's only right.
I
hear
love that
you.
though. That's something that we see with a lot of our guests too, that they're like the pair that they truly fell in love with. They're like, now that I have adult money, I got to get my hands on them again. So I respect that. I love that.
I had to.
So what kind of baller were you, or are you? Because you still ball.
What kind of baller am I? So I grew up, I loved watching Allen Iverson. It was Allen Iverson, and then it was Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's my GOAT. But growing up, it was Allen Iverson, and then I used to like study all the And One mixtapes.
Okay.
So that's the type of player that I am.
So you got handles.
I'm known for my handles, but just I've never been like that fundamental player. And I know at first my coaches would hate it, but then they're like, "That's just how she is. Let her be great." So that's the type of player I'm just known more for my flashy ball handling and that type of all that.
Was it how hard was it? Where your coaches really try to contain you and be like, look, nah, man, I need you to throw this two-handed bounce pass on the ground, and you're like, nah, I ain't doing that.
They knew, like, literally. I feel like I had this conversation with one of my coaches not too long ago, just talking about how like they just had to let me do my thing because, like, I know you have to start out with fundamentals, but eventually I was just like, I had to spread my wings a little bit and let me just do me. But they accepted it.
I like it. And so how far did you let basketball take you? So did you play in high school? Like what how did give me your basketball journey. How far did it take you?
High school, we were back-to-back state champions. Should have been back-to-back, but it happens. I went on to play college ball at UTEP. After that, I played in where did I go first? Czech Republic, and then I went to Spain, and then Mexico, and then I joined the Harlem Globetrotters, and I was with them for 4 years.
Indeed. Now. See, that's the thing, right? You can't. Harlem Globetrotters, we ain't trying to see no fundamental two-hand passes at the Harlem Globetrotters.
No, not at all. They do not want that. The flashier, the better. So it only made sense for me to join the team.
I love it.
I want to ask, though, because I'm a big Globetrotters fan, and I think, Gerard and I were talking at the top of the show a little bit about social media and how, like, you can use that to your advantage. And I think that's how we originally connected. And I think what I love about, like, your TikTok is you are you. It is flash. Yeah. It is like, oh, yeah, I can still make this jump shot in a pair of heels. Tell us a little bit about that evolution and, like, how you always keep it 100 on social media.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is always living in my truth. And that just goes for anything, just not even basketball, but just myself. And I'm definitely comfortable in my own skin. And I'm not scared, like afraid or scared to just kind of think outside the box, especially with basketball. The heels thing was definitely out the box because I don't even really know how to walk in heels. Like the last time I wore a dress or some heels was like probably in prom, and I didn't even want to wear it because I literally never have liked any of that girly stuff. But I just thought it would be fun, something different. But I just like to be, innovative, creative, keep it fun. Keep it light and just have a good time doing it.
I like it. You also talked about, how you're comfortable in your own skin. That takes time for a lot of people to get to that point, right? Because oftentimes I feel like in society, and it's society as like it's constructed in and of itself, but also people, us who inhabit society, we like categories and boxes because it makes it easy for us to describe things, right? Ooh, that's a lamp. That's a table. That's a chair, right? Just push things in it so it's just easier to describe. So can you talk a little bit about sort of that evolution and how you grew to be comfortable in your own skin? Because I'm sure it wasn't like that straight out the jump, or maybe it was.
No, it definitely was. It definitely wasn't straight out the jump. I don't know if you guys know, but I am in the LGBT, all that in that box, I guess. So that was something I had to, come out with and be comfortable with. And eventually, it was just like, I don't know why I didn't do it a long time ago. Just come out to my family. My mom was like always knew, but she was just waiting on me to tell her. So she embraced it. My family embraced it. But I get it that, it's hard to, people have stuff going on. You never know what somebody's going through. And just, I mean, just to say you can do it, just be comfortable in your skin sounds a lot more easier said than done. But I just think be you, be comfortable. Don't be afraid to, be yourself. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It's just, you gotta get out. You gotta step out of that box someday. So you might as well do it now.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on that, right? I mean, it's hard because every part of society is telling you what you need to conform into and what you need to do in order to be accepted, right? In order to do X, Y, Z. But for you, I think probably what was majorly helpful was your family and your mother, especially. And I could just tell just by getting the tone of your voice that she's someone who's very important to you, right? Like her being able to accept you, like that was a huge weight off your, and not a lot of people are lucky like that, right? They don't, parents try to change them, and it's like, yo, nah, like this is me.
No, I definitely think it's important. I have a huge, my family's always, it was not easy. My dad was a little kind of the exact opposite, but he did learn to accept me, and now he just knows nothing's different. I'm the same girl, his baby girl, It's just a matter of your family accepting it. But I know, I do know it's not easy, but if you it's your life to live, so you might as well live your truth.
So I have a question for you. So I feel like you've had such an amazing career path, right? There's so many things on your resume, as we just talked about. Did a lot of that come from once you start to kind of own your truth? Like, how did the world change once you embraced that?
I think it just changed because I was just comfortable being me, being Bree. I was always this happy person. And I think once I let all my truth out, I was just even more happier. I was very comfortable. I was okay with, not wanting to wear dresses and be all girly. And I was okay being a tomboy. And I just learned that, it's okay to be yourself. You shouldn't have to be anybody else's, disguise from the world or what.
And I imagine that things opened up because as you're saying that, it made me think of, I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's this Indeed commercial. And there's a member of the LGBTQ community who's going for a job interview. And the interviewer sits across from him and says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I use the pronouns he and him." He's like, "Do you feel comfortable sharing yours?" And the person's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you asked." So I think there's something about when you are free to be yourself, the best you shines forward, right? Because I'm not hiding. I'm not pretending to be, or hiding or tamping down this part of my personality. As you said, I'm just being Bree, and everybody's like, "Ooh, this is I love this person," right? It's all the radiates because I can feel it just through the screen. You're effervescent, a big smile, you enjoy life, But I feel like if you're hiding, you can't do that.
No, definitely, because it's fake, it's counterfeit. If you're being this other person or somebody you really aren't, then who are you? So just be yourself.
I love your shirt, and I was about this to start the day. It says, "Don't ever accept failure." I want to push back on that notion because, in my opinion, we learn so much from our failures. So when you're wearing a shirt that says "Don't ever accept failure," what does that mean to you?
Well, I think in life, in sports, and everything in life, you go through a lot of adversity. I did go through a lot of adversity growing up, and then when I played basketball, I had 3 knee surgeries, tore both my ACLs. So it was just I think not accepting. I get what you're saying, but also not accepting it is just, I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna make the best of it. Silver lining, all that stuff. I'm gonna figure it out. So I think in life you just have to not accept it, and you can only go up. So I don't accept.
I mean, denial is not just a river in Egypt. I think if you use it as fuel, I'm the same way, so I respect it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let what's going on affect my energy, set me back. I mean, it's a lot of stuff to go through. And then to still be as good as you are, you would never know that you had any injuries, by the way, from the videos I've seen of you. So, I think that's fire. I don't know, Gerard, you might have to re-switch your little mindset there, on the shirt.
My point, no, I'm with her.
I think there's truth
we're saying the same thing, right?
Absolutely, and that's what I love about it is that you use it as your fuel, use it to drive you, and by accepting it, it's that's how you move on and move forward. Totally, I love it.
Yeah.
Because she learned, right? I mean, that's the thing. You learn from those situations, right? They teach you so much about yourself. They reveal character. is there's all these amazing things. Ooh, something I want to ask you, Bree, I don't know if you've got a chance to see this. Have you seen any basketball footage of the winner of the Scripps National Spelling Bee, Zaila Avant-Garde? Have you seen any of that on like Twitter or social?
Yeah. You can't not, if you get on the internet, you cannot. It's funny, I met her a couple of years ago. And she's been amazing. This it's just like
now everybody else knows.
She's been doing this stuff. Like when I met her 3 years ago, however long, she was doing that stuff then. So I was like not surprised.
I mean,
at all.
I saw something recently. I'm like, wow, like not just handles, but like she can shoot it. Like I'm like, look at this girl's got like a package.
No, she's different. She's the future for sure. I don't like whatever. I feel like whatever route she goes, she'll be great at.
Yeah.
So I saw somebody say she's going to be like the next president, and then somebody's like, she's gonna be better than that. Just what I feel like, whatever she wants to do, she'll be good at it.
That's the vibe I get, because she did an interview and she said something like, "I want to do something with like genomes." I'm like, wait, what? Like, who even talks about stuff like that? And like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I can also she's like, I can coach in the NBA because I know basketball. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it.
yeah, she's all that. I love it. I love it. All the confidence. How old is she?
14.
14, yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
For both of you, you have to love that from a young girl, right? Because so oftentimes women are taught, at least they were, and sometimes they still are taught to like tamp down that sort of like confidence. It's like, but like for boys, like you allow boys to be arrogant, like you. But you, Bree, you love that she's so confident.
No, I'm all for confidence, especially if you can back it up. And I feel like she can back it up.
Absolutely.
But regardless, I think as being a woman, it's all, you have to be confident what you do, especially nowadays. Like, you hear all the men stuff. Yeah. But like, as far as women go, we've been doing this.
We do this.
Like, we've been doing this. But you definitely need the confidence to do it. I feel like without confidence, you can't go as far. But she's got the confidence for sure. I love it.
I love that. I think, to bring it back to sneakers a little bit, the kicks that you rock, not just from a performance standpoint, add to that confidence, right? Like you feel like you're your true self when you're wearing things that you want. What are your favorite things to rock these days? What is your favorite kind of swag? What brands are you liking? What kind of kicks?
So as far as Jordans go, I love ones. I got some of my ones right here. Travis Scott, something like
little sneak preview for shoe and tell.
Yeah,
I like it.
A little sneak preview. So I love my ones. I love Air Force Ones. Those are my main. As far as hooping goes, I like playing in Kobe's low tops. I got some right here. I don't know if you guys want to see them yet. I love my Crocs.
Like Trey loves Crocs, boy.
I literally have all these shoes and I'll just wear Crocs most
Crocs it's a controversial silhouette, but like I feel like true sneakerheads rock Crocs these days because they don't want to get their kicks in the house. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna rock Crocs. So ones and forces are my go-to.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it.
I love it. So one of the great things about, if you're on, you can see your Instagram. It's just all the videos of you. And one of the ones I liked is you got a ball rack, and you're like, well, nobody wants to rebound for me. Well, because I'm just, you're just firing up threes.
It's a flex. That was a flex.
Listen. That's all right. We don't listen. If you got it, flex it, right? Flaunt it. That's
absolutely.
That's the motto, right? Like you said, if you can back it up, do it. So beyond basketball training, and do you train like people of all levels? Like how does the basketball training part work?
Yeah, I train guys, girls, men, women, whatever. Anybody interested. Even if I recently started training this girl who like had no experience with basketball whatsoever, and she's like 25 years old, and it happened because of COVID. And she's like, I want to just during all this, I want to just learn something new. So I was like, cool, why not? But I'm open to training whoever, because I'm still passionate about it. I love it. And it's just another way of being involved with it. So all levels and anybody just looking to get better or just have fun or get outside. So that's how I do it.
I think Gerard knows what I'm thinking right now.
What do you think? A KNS
I think
Feats in the
I
street?
think we need a KNS Feats in the Street basketball clinic. I think you've got to teach Gerard and I how to hoop.
And we head over to we head over to
Yeah.
LA. We do a little workout with Bree. All right,
I'm down for that. Pull up.
I
You
like
can make
it.
fun of us as much as you'd like, by the way. I gotta dust the rust off a little bit, but
I would never.
I mean, but she might though.
okay.
And that's cool. That's cool. In terms of the content creation, like how do you approach putting out content and creating content? Like what is there a formula, or is it really more like whatever I'm into, what I like, that's what's going up?
Yeah, people have asked me like the formula thing, and I was just like, to me, it's just getting the content out. And honestly, sometimes I have like, they're like writer's block. I have like creative block, just trying to come up with different things, new ideas, keep it interesting. But if I'm in a gym, I usually try to come up with something, especially if it's empty, because that's like never happens anymore. But just getting content out, like sometimes it does really well, sometimes it just does okay, but somebody usually likes it. So just having fun. Me personally, I'm going to have fun doing it. So that's really all I care about.
I like that.
What's your favorite video that you've shot? Like the one that was the most fun for you to make?
Dang, that's tough. The most fun. It wasn't even, there was one specifically it wasn't even one I intended on making. It was just somebody was recording it. And I was with the Globetrotters at the time, and I would go to schools and do assemblies. And at the end of the assembly, I'll pick a kid and I'll pick someone and I'll spin the ball on their finger. So this one, there was this girl, and she was mentally delayed. I think she had Down syndrome. So I picked her. Her name was Cassidy. I remember that. Her name was Cassidy. So I brought her up, and I had everybody cheering her name, like, Cassidy, Cassidy. And she was getting super excited. I spun the ball on her finger, and she, like, went crazy. And then she did this, like, little twerking dance. And
Yeah, I love that.
That literally is my favorite video. And I barely do anything. But Cassidy, shout out to Cassidy.
I like it. I like it. And I mean, it's about people, right? Like with whatever you're doing, it's like, obviously you talk about being yourself, but it's also bringing joy to others, right? And this sort of way in which you're enriching other people's lives around you. And I think, it's corny, but like people think it's corny, but it's true. Like if you're like doing stuff in service of others, all that stuff comes back to you, right? Like it's just, and you can see it, and especially if it's something you're passionate around. For you, it's hoop, whatever. It's like, this
contagious.
This is great. Yeah.
No, it's definitely pretty amazing. I think social media, I have a kind of like a love-hate with it, because it's so like I don't like to always be just in the social media world or whatever, and just kind of take a break from that detox and just have real life. But social media is still pretty cool, because like I have met people, and people have followed me or DM'd me from all over the world. It's just crazy how like one little app can just make everything so small, like, and the community small, I guess. And I think that's pretty cool. Like I never really go on live that much, but I did one time, and it was like I was inviting people on, and they were just like, one girl's from Africa, one girl's like London, and I'm like, what the heck? So it's pretty neat.
Listen, man, the world is a small place in some ways, right? And technology makes it smaller, but it's so nice when you're doing something and it's people who share the same passions that you do, right? For something that's the wonderful like connecting piece of this, folks. Stay tuned, because coming up next is America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by Another Lane. Now, look, you guys already got a little sneak preview of some of the heat that Bree's got, so I know she's gonna have some fire for you guys. So stay tuned.
Boom.
What's good, y'all? We are back, and you know what time it is. America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by Another Lane, the premier digital marketplace for dope kicks. Shout outs to the homies, Chad and Adina Jones. They will be return guests, coming up soon. So if y'all got questions for the sneaker god and goddess, feel free to drop them in the comments. Let us know, and we're gonna have them on to share more of their knowledge and more of the journey of Another Lane. All right, Bree, it's your show.
It's my show. All right, so we had a little sneak peek earlier. I told you I like the ones, so right out.
All right, we see you.
It's kind of bad because I wear these shoes like they're beaters. Is that? I don't even.
No,
know.
I respect that.
I literally do everything in these shoes. Like I will go hiking in these shoes. I will play that, and like I feel like as a sneaker whatever head, like people would be hurt by that.
Nah, no.
Not on
this show. You do what you want to do, right? So if you want to rock those Travis Scotts all the time, do whatever it is you got to do.
Okay, and then I told y'all Kobe was my favorite player. These are my favorite basketball shoes. Kobe, Protro, you know.
I love the Protros. I love those.
Protro, yep. All right, so let me see. Let's go.
Going on a journey.
Little tour.
We're going on a journey, Gerard.
Yes, we are going on a tour, folks.
Journey. So I put these. Some of these are. Let me flip the camera. How do you flip the camera? How do you flip the camera?
Do a little switchy switch with the.
You could just spin it around.
That's what I meant by a switchy switch. You articulated that a lot better.
What did I do?
Technical difficulties. We don't see you. Here we go. You're back.
There we go.
All
right. We got the one shadow backboard.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah.
With the ball.
The fours.
Yeah. So these, I need to charge them. The Nike Adapt.
Yeah.
Ones. I like my purple.
Okay.
I think I had something. Oh, I think I have my Travis Scott's right there. That's the LeBron's.
Okay. Whoa.
With the basketball.
Toon Squad.
Yeah.
The basketball ones.
Oh, Gabby, you like those?
My friend made these, so these are custom. But
okay.
That's fire.
Oh, Jolly. Wait, so I'm assuming Jolly Ranchers is a favorite
Sorry.
candy of yours. I'm assuming.
I mean, I do like Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then this is just light because I have my house in Florida, but I have
that display though is fire. I
Yeah.
love the way that you have it set up.
I love it.
This my girl right. I got my girls right here, and then up here I got some more ones, horses.
Okay.
Steph Curry, Paul George, Giannis.
Steph Curry's the shot boy. All right.
Little Zoom Freak ones. Okay.
Zoom Freak Dames, Adidas, NMDs.
Okay.
I think these are another Nike Adapt.
Okay. Look at you.
I like it.
That's a little something.
A little something.
Oh, these I wear on the regular too. These are probably my favorite right now.
Oh yeah.
I like them. I haven't taken those out of the box yet. I'm keeping them on ice still. But those are good.
I mean, you show up in them powder blues. It's like, all right, like. I like it.
Uh-oh.
So it's a sunny day in Los Angeles.
And it's a beautiful rainy day. That's 180% humidity in New York, per usual.
Tell the people about that lovely shirt you're wearing.
Shout out to DJ Def, DEAF. Don't ever accept failure. He was one of the Globetrotters DJs, and he was dope. So I had to rock his brand a little bit because I stand by it. So shout out to him.
I like that. All right. And this was great, man. We love talking to you. We'll have to have her on as a return guest because we're definitely going to do K&S Feats in the Streets out in LA where she schools us in basketball. But I don't mean schools as in embarrass, schools as in
meaning
teaches.
I'm going to school you in basketball when we practice what we've learned.
All right, chill. Bree, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Brianna Green 11, TikTok Brianna Green 11, YouTube it's Bree Green TV, all that good stuff.
I love it, folks. This was another episode of the Kicks and Shit Show. You know where to find us. We are part of the Count the Dings family on the Bomb podcast feed with, of course, Crazy Sexy Cool, the original Bomb Show, rap names growing up the same. Listen, man, woke bros, we all out here at Kicks and Shit Show on all social media platforms. And until next time, peace.